Welcome to another episode of Double J's List. Today I'm going to be listing off the 13 things I like and 11 things I dislike or hate about my brand new 2023 Jeep Wrangler 4xe Willys. But before I get into it, I want to remind you that this is going to be the first of many videos about this Wrangler and other things that I'm doing automotive lately. So if you could hit the subscribe button and hit the bell button, so that way you're reminded to check out my videos when new ones come out. They come out sporadically whenever I have a free chance to get them done. So I don't have a regular schedule right now to help you out with that, but it is what it is. So I'm going to talk about the 13 things that I like. First, number one being the power. When combined with the electric and gas engines, this makes 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. There's videos floating around even on TikTok of these things doing 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds. It is much faster than an off-road platform needs to be. So, number two, with it being a plug-in hybrid, it is extremely inexpensive to run. I can get most of my driving done in the 22 miles of range that this offers. So it's pretty cheap to keep going, especially for an off-road vehicle that's so high off the ground, not aerodynamic at all. It's not something that should be cheap to run. However, it is. Number three is the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. I am not a huge fan of automatic transmissions. However, the ZF 8-speed is a really good transmission, and this seems to have it like a lot of other Chrysler vehicles and a lot of other German vehicles. It's a transmission that makes its way into a lot of different platforms, and it's extremely good here. So that's a really cool thing that it has, is the ZF 8-speed. Number four is its unique driving experience. Really, there's not much out there that drives like a Wrangler, and I really like my vehicles to be unique. That windshield's like up in your face, and the steering is a little bit light and different. It's just very cool. You sit really high off the ground, really like nothing else out there. Number five, going off of the unique driving experience, is the turning radius. This thing can turn around and do things that a vehicle this large shouldn't do, and I think it's mostly due to the fact that there's so much space around the wheels that it allows a lot more steering angle than most normal vehicles. So I can really turn the wheel. It really turns to a greater degree of turning than most other vehicles, so that's pretty neat. Number six is that the fact that it is full of quirks. There are all sorts of little Easter eggs all over it, like this little Jeep here in the glass, and over here you can kind of see them. There's a set of sandals here that's an ode to an old Jeep driver. It's got a little toolkit that helps the doors come off and the roof come off. That says Jeep on it. It's pretty cool. The way that the tailgate opens is really strange and different compared to other vehicles. So you open it like this, and then you have to lift this up. Really like nothing else out there. Another thing that I found out about these things after owning this for less than a couple of hours is the Jeep Wave is no joke. Driving around, it seems like almost every Wrangler owner is waving to each other, and I guess it's kind of cool to be part of a community where the folks do that. I was part of the VW community for a long time. That's a pretty tight-knit community, and this one is, I would say, almost even more tight-knit. And number eight is another thing that's really cool about these are accessories. There are so many different things you can buy for a Jeep Wrangler. Different wheels, different suspension, different tops, different everything they can imagine. There's tons of catalogs and online sources. It seems to be limitless, which is really fun to do with a vehicle. You can really personalize it, make it your own, or make it work better for your life. Number nine, this is a Jeep Wrangler JL. Every generation's got a different two-letter name. I've driven a lot of older YJs and TJs back when I worked in the car dealership world, and I've even driven a couple JKs, which was the generation before this, and I have to say that this is by far the most luxurious, nicest riding, and quietest Jeep Wrangler out of all of those that I've ever experienced. And they've really come a long way, and this thing is like, I hate to say it because it's kind of cliche, it's like a Cadillac compared to the previous Jeeps. With that being said, it's still a firm ride. It's a little bit noisier than most other vehicles, but as far as Wranglers go, this thing's quite nice. The number 10 thing that I like about this is the Willys Trim. Notice I'm saying Willys and not Willys because apparently that is the correct pronunciation. The Willys Trim comes with this decal that comes on the front hood. It also comes with the black grille. It's a more aggressive off-road package with these mud terrain tires. It comes with these rock sliders instead of running boards or nothing at all. It has these giant tow hooks and a little bit more black accessory, so it's a little bit more off-road oriented. However, it's not all the way to Rubicon. I think it's a nice balance of things that are off-roaded. Most importantly, it has a limited slipper differential too. And finally, for number 12 are the cup holders. It seems kind of arbitrary. However, these are like a soft rubber material, and when you put a water bottle in here, this grips like no other cup holder I've ever experienced in a car. So it makes a ton of sense because it's a vehicle that's meant to be taken off-road. You don't want your water bottle popping out and rolling under the pedals or hitting people. So that's a really neat innovation that shows that they were thinking a little bit about who's going to be buying this car and what they're going to be doing with it. And one more thing that I like, number 13, about the Jeep Wrangler Willys 4xe is the fact that all the 4xe's get these blue accents, like these blue tow hooks. You get a little bit of blue around the Willys decal, and then you get a little bit of blue behind the Jeep, and the Wrangler stickers in blue. You come around the back, it says electric around the four-wheel drive sticker. I think I talked about that in my other video. You get this 4xe badge, and then you get this blue tow hook right here. So when you see these items on other ones out there, you know that you're looking at another 4xe. Oh, one more thing. The trail rated badge has some blue in it too. Also, it has this giant charging port here too, so that's another thing that clue you off. But the little clues so you can say, hey, you're one of the other 4xe's. That's cool. Okay, now moving on to the things that I hate or dislike about this vehicle. The number one thing is that I wish that it had a little bit more than range, because it's rated at 22 miles by the EPA. I've eked like 24 out of it. Sometimes it goes down when it's colder out, down to like 18 or 19. Sometimes that's not quite enough for me to go back and forth to work, and I have to charge at work. So, especially if I go on the highway, then it really kills the battery. So I wish it had a little bit more range, but at the same time, then having a bigger battery would drive up the cost, and it would also have more of an environmental impact as far as all the mining for precious materials that make these batteries. So that's a win or lose, but boy, it would be nice just to have a little bit more range. The number two thing that I don't like about it is the fact that it is an automatic only choice, and there's no manual choice. One of the things I like about Jeep Wranglers and Jeep Gladiators is the fact that you can still get them in a manual transmission. However, you cannot get the 4xe. You can only get with the ZF 8-speed, which is a good automatic transmission. However, I really like shifting my own gears. I would love to know if there was ever a test mule that Jeep had developed with a 4xe manual, with a manual transmission, because I would be curious to see how that was, and I imagine it was just too confusing between using the manual transmission and the electric, and then transitioning to gas and trying to figure out what gear you should be in at the time. And it's much easier for the computer to sort all of that out for you. This is a really unique EV experience because the electric motors, there are two. There's one that's driven by the accessories, another one that's driven, it's in the transmission, basically in the bell housing. Then it uses the transmission gears for the electric motor, kind of ekes a little extra acceleration out of the relatively slow, low horsepower electric motors. So therefore, like it seems to use first through sixth in the electric mode, I've noticed. And I'll go more into that on my in-depth review. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you can watch that review when I get it out, hopefully soon. So yeah, I wish it was a manual. That would have been really kind of fun to see if they could have made that happen. Number 3 is the lack of wireless CarPlay. It seems kind of weird that a $61,000 vehicle in 2023 requires to use a cable for CarPlay. However, it does. And you can get wireless CarPlay on higher trims, from what I understand. However, this one doesn't have it. It would be really nice just to be able to keep your phone in your pocket, especially with it being a Jeep. It's one less thing to kind of fuss around with and have a phone bouncing around inside the cabin. So that would have been nice, but they didn't do that. Now, number 4, going along that, we're talking about infotainment and things like that and electronics. This one has the connectivity delete. So what that means was much like GM's OnStar, this has a feature where it can have an app that it connects wirelessly to your phone anywhere in the world, and you can remote start it and check other things on the vehicle. Because of the computer chip crisis that we're going through right now, they deleted it and offered a credit on the sticker, the window sticker of the car. It's kind of a good and bad thing. It's bad that it's not there. I really like that feature on my Chevy Bolts. However, at the same time, from what I understand, it's only free for a couple months with Chrysler products, FCA products, or what are they called, Stellantis. And after that, it's kind of an expensive fee. I think it was like $15 a month, which for that, I can just use the remote on my remote keyless starter to start it up and do basically all the same things. While we're talking about electronics, the infotainment, it has Sirius XM, which I really like. It's the smaller screen on the Willys Trim. You can get a bigger screen on higher trims. I don't really find that necessary on a Wrangler because it's a Wrangler. I don't really need much. As long as the CarPlay shows up and it works well, that's all that really matters to me. And the thing that I don't like is that there's only 12 presets for Sirius XM. Anyone who knows about Sirius XM knows that there are a ton of channels, and limiting it down to 12 is a little bit challenging. So I wish they would have actually put in like another I could use another 12, to be honest, at least 24. Like I could easily program 24 channels on my Sirius XM. So that would be a really cool addition. Kind of a small complaint, but it would be nice to have that. My next complaint, I guess you could call it, we're going to be calling this number 6, is the size of the key. Now this is next to my Volkswagen Tiguan key for comparison. So first of all, it's way bigger. It's also a flip key. Why, I don't know, because this has a proximity key for the interior and you use the remote buttons to get in and out, even though there is a keyhole on the doors. Like in the 3 years of my lease, I doubt I'll ever use it. And you can see that like the functions are pretty much the same for the two keys. It's just this Jeep one is way taller, it's way wider, and it's much thicker. So this thing's massive. I hate having big things in my pocket. I carry the smallest iPhone that I can possibly carry that's modern. I gave my wife the key for the Jeep to put in her purse, and she's like, I am not putting this thing in my purse. I'll just keep it on the key rack at home, and when I need it, I need it. So that's kind of an annoying thing. I guess it's because it's a big bulky vehicle. They want to be tough or whatever, but that's annoying. My number 7 complaint would be the storage for the Freedom Top. So the Freedom Top, if you're not familiar, are the two pieces that come off over the driver and passenger front compartments. And the way you're supposed to store it is in this bag that hangs here. It's kind of a pain to put into this bag and store it properly, and then it hangs off the back of this seat. It would have been a lot cooler if they had come up with like some sort of like a slot system to just slot and lock them in and you're done. Instead of having to get this bag, unzip it, put one in, then there's a piece of fabric that goes over, and then you put the other one in, then zip it back up, and put it in the car, strap it in. It would have been nice if it's something that would take like a minute or two rather than this is like a 10-minute process. So it's kind of annoying. The number 8 thing that I don't like is this back section of the hardtop. While we're talking about the hardtop, we'll talk about this. This back section of the hardtop is all one piece, and it weighs about 180 pounds from what I've read, and you need approximately 4 people, according to the owner's manual, to take this off. How much cooler would it have been if they had made these into separate pieces that one person could take off? So let's say 2 or 3 or 4 roof pieces, and then the windows are all their each individual piece, and then you could all take it off, but with one person by yourself. That would have been really cool. Maybe it's a little challenging because there'd be more squeaks and rattles. Similar to this Freedom Top, it would have been just expand the idea further down the top. I don't know. That would have been a really cool feature. Looks like the real solution is probably going to have to get a soft top for the summer. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll be able to sell the Frontier and use that money towards it. So the next complaint that I have is the step-in height. So it's okay. It's kind of a big step to get in. This comes with rock rails instead of running boards. My wife doesn't like climbing into it, and the kids have a challenge getting in from back here. It would be nice if there was a little step. My kids are about to turn 6 and 4, and it would make things a little bit easier for them to get in and out of the Jeep. While we're talking about the back seat area, number 10 is the actual size of the back seat is kind of small for such a large vehicle, as is kind of the rear storage compartment. But as you can see, when you have a forward-facing seat that converts forward and backwards, it leaves very little room for my 4-year-old. So I'm actually working on getting another seat that's like a booster / forward-facing harness that takes up a little less room, so she'll have a little more space. But this is kind of a small back seat for a large vehicle. I wish that was a little bit bigger. So kind of surprising. Number 11 is kind of a minor one, but it's the fact that they put mud terrain tires on the Willys Trim. It's actually a more aggressive tire than the Rubicon has. The Rubicon has BF Goodrich KO2 all-terrains, which is a more all-around use tire, where this is a more aggressive mud tire. You would think the more aggressive tire would make its way onto the more aggressive off-road trim, but this is the way they optioned it. I think an all-terrain probably would have been a better choice for this, because these things do kind of make a hum when you're rolling at speed. And but it's something I'm getting used to. And yeah, there's no way that a Jeep's going to be, a Wrangler is going to be very quiet anyway. So, but it is what it is. So that's it, the 13 things I love and the 11 things that I hate about my Wrangler. If you like this and you want to see further videos about this, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. I would really appreciate that, and thank you for watching.